Hello, my crafty friends. It's Marie from Marie's Vermont Creations, and I am bringing you a quick card for International Women's Day. So I am bringing out a stamp set from Sassy and Crafty. This is a retired company. These stamps are no longer available, but I really enjoy these women. So I decided to break them out. They're both like musically themed. One of them, which I'm going to color today, is wearing some headphones, and the other one has a microphone that is singing. So I opted to go with the one with the headphones. I do enjoy this one. I don't know about you, but I enjoy putting on some good music and just tuning out the world. So I am going to be using this Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink because I am going to use my Copic, well, not Copic, they're alcohol markers, to color this image. And I did leave the coloring in, but I sped it up quite a bit because I am not the person you want to learn coloring from. I do the basics. So I have stamped this twice just to make sure that I get a good impression, and then I am going to just run through and color this image. Like I said, nothing special. I did use a couple of shades for some sections just to give it a little bit of dimension. So while I'm coloring this, just figured I would see how everyone is doing. What projects have you been working on? I am currently in the process of making thank you cards for a cousin's wedding coming up soon, and I absolutely love making a project that is multiples of. This one isn't the exact same, but it's very similar. I found some handmade paper at Walmart, and so there's different patterns. So each one's a little bit different, but the process of putting it together is the same. And I find it very therapeutic to do the same type of card over and over again. I love doing a big batch of cards. Is that something you enjoy, or do you prefer a one and done and move on to the next thing? I know some people really like it and some people really don't. Like I said, and I try to do, if you make batches of cards, I find doing them in steps much easier. So like I will cut my card bases, and then I will cut the pattern paper, and then I die cut my sentiment, and this one I'm adding ribbon, so then I go through and add the ribbon, and I do, each step for most of the cards. I don't do all of them at one time. Well, I'm not for this particular one. I've kind of been doing smaller batches of them all the way through, and mainly that was because I didn't have enough ribbon on hand, so I had to go to the store this morning to get some more to make sure that I had enough to complete the project. And of course, did they have the ribbon that I used for the first 25 cards? Absolutely not, but I found other white ribbon that is very similar, and since they all have a little bit different paper, I figured it's fine that they have different ribbons. Nobody's getting two of them, so they're not going to know what they were intended to look like. So just winging it as I go, which is the norm around here. I apologize, my neighbors are extremely heavy-footed this afternoon. Anyway, hopefully you can't hear that. And so for the hair, I just took and did flicks with the mid-tone color all around. I didn't quite completely fill it in, and then I'm going to do some flicks of the darker color, and then I will find a lighter shade and just go through and color all of the hair. It gives it a little bit of a textured look to me. I do like coloring hair because it doesn't have to be precise because there's so many highlights and different shades in hair. So just to give it a realistic look, I just used 3 colors to make sure that I had it all filled in. I did forget the one curl by the headphones that she is wearing, so I do figure that out and go back and color those in. And then off screen I did fussy cut this out. I didn't leave a white border. I normally do, but as I started cutting this, I cut right up to the bottom here, and so I just kept going all the way through. Now I am going to adhere. Well, before I do that, I am going to go around with a black marker, and that's just to make it look like I did a better job at cutting this out than I actually did. It just makes it look like the stamp line is continued and seamless so that you can have a more finished look. The pattern paper that I'm using came in a recent Simon Says Stamp card kit. I like the colors of it. I thought that it worked well for my project for today. So once I get the outline of this all done in the black marker, I am going to adhere that pattern paper to an A2 size card base using some liquid glue. And then I will take some foam squares and pop up my girl onto the pattern paper. And then I am going to stamp out a sentiment. I was originally thinking I would stamp the sentiment directly onto the pattern paper, but I thought it might be too busy and get lost along the way, so I opted not to do that. These are black foam squares. Didn't necessarily have to do those. I just happened to be the ones that I grabbed out of the drawer first. And so just taking off the backing of those, and I'm going to line this up to the bottom edge of my card just because it had that flat bottom. And then a scrap piece of white cardstock, and I am going to use an acrylic block. And for this, I'll use the VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink because I do find I get better luck with stamping sentiments without the Misty if I use this ink. And then I trim that out, and I will adhere that down using some liquid glue. And I did just re-ink my VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, so the ink pad, so that it is not as dry as it was, so I had better chances of stamping it correctly the first time. These are also some gems that came in that recent card kit, and the colors actually went perfectly with this background paper. So I'm assuming they both came together. I'm not 100% sure if they were two different card kits or not, but I, of course, couldn't figure out where I wanted them, but I opted to go for this upper left-hand corner, so then I will take that liquid glue and adhere those down. I thought I was going to change my mind, and I was like, no, you figured it out, just put them down. So happy National Women's Day. I hope that you celebrate women in your life. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Feel free to leave them down below. And as always, I hope that you have a great day.